All right, today I want to introduce you to animation using a program called Scratch. Scratch was developed by MIT. It's pretty cool. The website is scratch.mit.edu. If you don't remember it, you can also Google that. And what it does is it uses blocks of code to create animation. You can get really tricky and even make a game. The first thing you're going to need to do if you don't already have one is make a Scratch account. I'll go ahead and pause in case you want to do that now. All right, once you have your account, we're going to create. All right, I'll give you a quick tour. This is going to show you what's happening. This is script commands. These are the blocks of code that I mentioned. Costumes and sound, we'll get to that during our writing process. This is going to be your storyboard. You'll bring blocks of code over, you'll snap them together. It's pretty fun. The avatars are called sprites. You can pick a new sprite. Here's your backdrops. You can pick a new backdrop. I am going to get a new sprite. I want an octopus. And I saw, here it is. When you click on them, you can see if they have more than one costume. This octopus does have costumes. He has legs up like he's about to take off, and he has legs down like he has just taken off, and so he does pretty good animation that way. I'm going to pick him. I'm going to go over here to the cat now and delete him. I want a new backdrop. I have a backdrop library, and of course it's an octopus, so I need an ocean. I'm going to pick this one, an underwater scene. Great. Now I'm ready to go. Go back over here to the scripts tab. I have motions that he can use. There's different looks, sounds, pen and data we're not going to use, events, controls. Those are the 5 that we're going to be using today. All right, let's get back over here on my sprite instead of the backdrop. Okay. What I want my octopus to do is I'm going to want him to kind of move around. I think I'm going to have him go up and over here and maybe down, make some bubbles, stuff like that. This is set up like an X and Y, so you can see when I move my mouse it tells me where on the X and Y is. This, of course, both would be negative. When he's up here, the X is negative, Y is positive. Over here, they're both positive. And over here, X is positive and Y is negative. This is where I'm looking right here. You're going to kind of want to plan out what you want him to do, and then I would pull some pieces over to get started. So I'm definitely going to want him to probably turn. He's probably going to need to glide a few times. Let's see. I'm going to want him, let's see, we'll have him say something. Definitely going to switch costumes a few times, which goes from legs up to legs down. I'll change the meow, but I'm going to want him to play a sound. I'm going to want all this to happen when I click the go. And when it happens, I am going to want it to be on a loop. And whenever you switch costumes, you need to have wait time in between, so I'll pull a few waits over. Once you get these all together, you can see they snap. You can snap them and then you can play them. You don't have to pull them over ahead of time. I like to pull them over ahead of time because then I don't have to switch back and forth between screens. But now that I've pulled them over, I'm going to want to get them organized. So I'm going to pause for a second. When you come back, I'll have my blocks all nice and organized and we'll get started. All right, I've got my board organized, and before I forget, I don't want my octopus to say meow. Let's go over here to sounds and the new sound. They're in alphabetical order. I like the bubbles. I'll pick that one. All right, so now that's a choice on the drop-down box. Change my bubbles while I'm thinking about it. All right, and what I've decided I want to do is to have my octopus kind of go up and up, maybe say something and come down. So I want to start him here. And you can see with the mouse it's about negative 185 and negative 108. And I want him to move up here. So I'm probably just a little bit negative on the X, positive on the Y. Over here again, and drop. So when I put in my glides, I'll change the coordinates to what makes sense. All right, so if he starts in this position, I'm going to want him to switch costumes. So pull from the bottom. When that happens, he will switch. All right, when he switches like that, I want it to be a bubble sound. And then after he makes a bubble sound, I'm going to want him to glide for about a second. And I think I'm going to want him to glide about here. So negative 74 and 95. So I'll change that. Okay. Now, after he gets there, I'm going to want him to switch costumes back to the squinchy legs. And then I have to build in a little bit of wait time because I'm going to make it look like he's propelling himself. I'm just going to do like a half a second. And there. And then it'll be time for him to make a bubble sound again. And I'm going to have him glide again. This time I think I'll have him glide here, and that's 91 and 130. And once he glides there, I think that's when I'm going to have him say hello. And then I'm going to have him squinch his legs again. Next costume. And I think then I'll just have him come down to about here, which is 207 and negative 92. And then let's see how that goes. Okay, so he's a little too far over this way. I want him to be a little bit, let's change this to like 180. I'm going 180 on that better. And I also want him to squinch his legs again. I need another costume change. I didn't get enough of those. Next costume. All right, let's try that now. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now I can make that happen whenever the green flag is clicked. I can also, like I said, if I wanted it to repeat, I can. I've decided since he's not going in a circle not to have him repeat, but I could if I wanted. So now let's press it. And then start him at the beginning. Good, so that's my animation. I can get real tricky. I can make him go in circles. I can even turn it into a game. I can add more characters. He can change backgrounds. Start small. You have to kind of plan it out. You have to play with it. It might not work. There has to be a space between costume changes. So either a pause or a glide, some kind of space between costume changes. Other than that, just play with it. If you have some questions, if you need my help, raise your hand and I'll come around and help you.